Okay, let's continue with our worksheet 39. So we have one last section, which is on the topic water. Okay, hold on, where's my pen? Okay, so water can exist in three states. We know that they are the solid, liquid, and gas state, right? Now, when we talk about gas state, usually you should be mentioning gaseous state. All of you are familiar, right? But what about those times, or some of you here, you may struggle with spelling this word. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so what I understand is they will allow you to even write down this. So if you write down gas state, they will mark you correct. But in secondary school, I think you must write it correctly. Okay, so solid state, liquid state, gaseous state. Okay, for you, still okay to write gas state. Now, examples of water in solid state will be ice and snow. Then liquid state of water will be liquid water. And then water in the gaseous state is steam or water vapor. Oh. This happened again. Hold on. It happened to me the last time as well. Okay, where you suddenly scroll down all the way to the last slide. Let's see whether it's okay now. Can see? Can see my slides, right? Okay, good. All right. So we were here. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, then boils at 100 degrees to produce steam. Right, Adam is here. Hi, Adam. Are you in yet, Adam? Okay. Yeah, Evan, no lah, you're not really late. Okay, you're not really late, so don't worry. So Adam is in. Now, okay, then next part. Remember, you can get all these from the lesson notes. Now, water evaporates at any temperature below boiling point to form water vapor. Okay, freezing takes place when water loses heat. Okay, changes from liquid state to solid state. Okay, and then condensation, water vapor loses heat, changes from a gas to a liquid. Remember, we went through the topic on heat, and then we talk about matter, right or not? Matter losing heat or gaining heat, then there's a change of state. We also talk about the different states and the different processes. So we talk about boiling, we talk about melting, we talk about evaporation, etc., right? So boiling, okay, is where water gains heat and changes from liquid state to gaseous state. So if you see how I am representing my notes, I put down liquid state to gaseous state because it is okay to write this way. Okay, evaporation changes from liquid to a gas. It's also okay to write in this manner. So you can say things like water gains heat. For example, evaporation, water gains heat, changes from liquid state to gaseous state. It's fine as well. Or you can say water gains heat, changes from a liquid to a gas. That's fine. You want to be more specific, you can say that water changes to water vapor. That is for evaporation. But when you talk about boiling, you need to mention that water changes to steam. Okay? Water changes to steam. What is steam? Steam is actually water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius. Crucial that you know this. Very important that you know this. Okay? Now, melting. Ice gains heat and changes from solid state to liquid state. Very specific will be ice change to liquid water. Right. So take note, water evaporates at any temperature below boiling point to form water vapor. Rate of evaporation of water depends on 4 factors. Most of the time, you learn only 3, but I believe your teacher would have added 1 extra for you. Okay, now when you talk about temperature, right? Yes, of course, you can talk about temperature of the surrounding also, right? When it's hotter, of course, you know, the water will evaporate faster. But temperature of water is also very important. One thing that students missed out is the temperature of water. Okay, so temperature of water, temperature of surroundings. Presence of wind, all right? If there is wind, evaporation is faster or takes place at a higher rate. exposed surface area of water, because we are talking about evaporation of water. So if you just write down exposed surface area in your answer, you are not given the marks. You have to be specific. It's the surface area of the water that we are referring to. Humidity, if there is a lot of water vapor in the air, then of course the rate of evaporation will be lower. Clear? Okay, rate of evaporation is lower when there's a lot of water vapor in the air. Must know this. So in Singapore, it is very humid. Evaporation is not as fast as compared to another country where the humidity is very, very low. Humidity low means the country has very dry air. And what happens is you will find that your lips will dry out, crack easily. How many of you traveled to countries where your lips cracked? I think Jekai can share. Jekai, you came back from China, right? So the air there is drier, right? You realize that? Yeah. So when you first went to China to stay there for long term, when you first arrived there, do you find that your lips crack very easily? Yes. Yeah. How about Gordon? Gordon, you can also share, isn't it? You went to Belgium. Okay. So what happened when you were there? You can unmute yourself and share.
Like when you go out in the cold and you like talk, you know how you're like your breath will come out and you can like see it,
Yeah.
mist
The
or whatever.
mist.
Yes.
That's right.
So when you talk, your lips can also crack a little bit. They won't really like crack, but they'll like dry up a lot. That's why. So you have to
Yeah.
drink water.
Yeah, you need the lip balm, right? The lip balm will help a lot. But I know guys don't like it. It feels so weird to have something oily on your lips. Yeah, Timothy. Timothy happiness. Timothy likes it. Okay, yeah, because you nobody likes to have cracked lips, It's very, very painful. So when you are eating or when you're drinking with cracked lips, it's so painful. It burns, it stings very badly, especially when you take spicy stuff, right? Yes, correct. It feels weird to have lip balm. Yeah, but ladies, girls, we love it. Yeah. Teja says no. Yeah, wrong, Miss Day. Anyway, now let's come back to this. So humidity in the air, got to know this. That's why, remember I shared with some of you before earlier this year when you attended my lesson, when you put, let's say, a shirt that is just washed, you need to wear it urgently the next morning. Where did I ask you to hang your shirt? Where did I ask you to dry your shirt? Do you all still recall? In the aircon room, that's right. If you still recall, I told you that, right? Because aircon room, the air is very drying. Yeah, it's extremely dry. So because of the wind of the air conditioner, as well as the very dry environment, that's why your clothes will dry very fast. I used to do that when I was younger. Then especially when my kids need to do some painting, right? Last minute, then do painting 10 p.m. at night. Okay, they need it to be dry early in the morning. Then some of the paint actually dry very slowly. So what they do is they put it in the aircon room as well. Next morning, it will be very, very dry. Yes. Okay, you can try that if you want to. Okay, let's continue. Water cycle. This is the continuous movement of water from the earth to the air and then back from the air, okay, to the earth. Water cycle is very important because it ensures continuous supply of fresh water on earth. So this is the water cycle. Remember, you already learned this. So evaporation of water from the water bodies, right? So upon evaporating, the water in the water bodies become water vapor. Water vapor then rises up. Okay, the higher atmosphere is always cooler, right? So when it's cooler, the water vapor will lose heat and then condense into water droplets to form clouds. So the clouds that you see is actually made of a lot of tiny water droplets. When it gets too heavy, you see that your cloud starts to get very dark, right? And then soon it will start raining. Why? Because the water droplets all combine together. So tiny, tiny droplets combine together to form bigger droplets, right? And then fall as rain. Then this process is known as precipitation. So rain is known as precipitation. Snow is also known as precipitation. Even the hail, okay, the hailstones, right? Like tiny small pieces of ice that fall from the sky. Yeah, that is also precipitation. So precipitation is a process whereby water returns back to earth, okay, either in the form of rain, in the form of snow, in the form of hail. Let me see. Okay, now, so when the water, okay, in the various forms gets collected in the water bodies, again, we call this collection. You need not know this. The most important thing is this and this. All right? Most important thing is this and that. Timothy, why your H is there? Okay. Right. Does that mean that rain is pure clean water? No, rain is not pure clean water. You know why? Tamai, good question here. When the rain starts falling, in the air, we have a lot of air pollutants. These air pollutants will dissolve in the rainwater and then they fall as polluted rain, or you call it acid rain. Clear? Ever heard of acid rain before? How many of you did? You will learn more about this when you go to secondary school. I think you learn a little bit. You will learn a little bit next year. Is it acid very bad? Yes, it's very bad. Yeah, it's very bad. Some of the sculptures, right? Some of the sculptures, in the world are actually deformed because of acid rain. Yeah. Okay. Teja said that her music teacher shared with her. It doesn't melt stuff, it dissolves things. Why will the cloud be dark before it rains? Because it is very heavy with a lot of water droplets. That's why it looks very dark. Okay? That means it's very heavy already. It's going to be a thunderstorm. Okay, Melody heated a beaker of pure water, which was at a temperature of 25 degrees. So can you see that I draw this point here? Okay, 25 degrees, there's a dot here. Okay, for 20 minutes until it boiled. So when it boiled, right, it should be at 100 degrees Celsius. So I make another point over here. Okay, so 1 point here, 1 point here. One is the start, one is after 20 minutes when it is boiling. Then I draw the line, okay, to show how temperature increases as I heat up the liquid or the water. Then she left it to boil for another further 10 minutes, right? Okay, so 10 minutes, you add 10 to 20, that is 30 minutes total. And this is where boiling takes place consistently for that 10 minutes. Okay, so this is the line graph that you should have drawn. Do you all manage to get the same graph? How many of you cannot construct graph? Should be able to by now. Okay, good. So let's go on. What will happen to the volume of water in the beaker if Melody were to let the water boil for another 10 minutes? So after these 30 minutes, right, continue to boil for another 10 minutes. What will happen to the water? Okay, this specifically asks you about volume of water. Okay, so will there be an increase? Will there be a decrease, or will it be the same? Will decrease. Why? You need to explain your answer. So the volume of water will decrease, right? Yeah? Okay, volume of water will decrease. Why is that so? Now, many of you just say that volume of water decreased because it evaporated. What is the missing part? Remember, when you answer question, there must be some scientific concept involved, right? So you got to say that the water gained heat and evaporated. Or you can say that it boiled off. Okay, continues to gain heat, all right, and boiled. That's fine. So during boiling, it is a process whereby water changes to the gaseous state, isn't it? So that's what's happening here. Okay. So you can write in this manner, right? Next, Melody.